Welcome back to our Facebook and Insta Live. A very good evening to each and everyone present over here. So as promised, we are back again with our Facebook and Insta Live, and the topic which we have chosen this time, the art form, if I must say, is pen mandala. As we all know that Mahashivratri is approaching us soon, so we thought why not create a art form or a symbol that represents and appreciates our Lord Shiva. So this is what we are gonna create today. I'll just pan my cameras down on the artwork that which we will be making. So this is of course the raw material that you can see. That is the MDF cutout of the floral background and the MDF cutout of Shivji, of course, and this is what we are gonna create. Okay, the final input, the artwork, I'll be showing you towards the end. Today we can start with the process of how to create this beautiful art form. Okay, so I'll just introduce the materials that we will be needing to create this artwork, starting with the very basic, that is the MDF surface. As you all can see, if you see closely, this MDF surface is pre-marked, that is these lines, which will help us guide the outlines and the patterns that has been created, and accordingly we can apply the colors in it. Okay, so as we are talking about the colors, here are the shades that we will be requiring to create our artwork. So as you all can see कि हमने बहुत bright and bold colors लिए, because we all know Shiv ji is all about bright energy. So that is why we have chosen these colors, so that वो energy and वो color harmony, color scheme उनको suit करे. Okay, so I have of course prepared the shades over here, but in this live I will also tell you which all shades to create, mix in order to procure these shades. Okay, colors के साथ में we will be needing brushes, of course. Just make sure that the brushes which you will be using are sharp, because as I said that this is pen mandala, right? So brushes are gonna play a very important role. So brushes का neat and clean and sharp होना is very important. Okay, so once brushes का काम is done, we will be also needing a sponge cutout. Now you can see that I have a tool, a sponge cut tool. If you don't have this, that is completely fine. You can use any sponge cutout that is available with you, and you can make use of that. Okay, so here are the basic materials that we will be needing. So we will start with the creation of our artwork. So what we will do is, ये जो शिव जी का कटआउट है MDF का, उसको साइड में रख देंगे, इस पे काम बाद में करेंगे. सबसे पहले हम हमारे बेस के ऊपर काम करेंगे. ओके, एज यू कैन सी द बेस दैट वी हैव इज ऑफ MDF. ओके, MDF इज नथिंग बट अ कंप्रेस्ड वर्जन ऑफ सॉडस्ट. सो वी हैव टू मेक श्योर कि इसको हम एक बेस कोट लगाए. ओके, एंड द रीजन फॉर अप्लाइंग दिस बेस कोट इज सो दैट जितना भी MDF ने कलर सोक करना है वो कर लेगा, एंड बाद में जो हमारे ब्राइट कलर्स जो हम ऊपर से अप्लाई करेंगे वो और ज़्यादा अच्छे दिखेंगे. ओके, सो कोई भी आर्टवर्क आप बनाओ, अगर आप MDF आपका सरफेस आपका बेस के जैसे यूज़ कर रहे हो, तो यू हैव टू मेक श्योर कि आप उसको एक बेस कोट लगाओगे. तो करना क्या है बेसिकली बेस कोट के लिए, यू जस्ट हैव टू टेक वाइट कलर. ओके, put some amount of white color on your surface, and with help of a sponge or a brush, just drag it out. Okay, you just have to place the color towards the center and drag the color out. Okay, so once you apply the base coat, this is how it will look. बेस कोट अप्लाई करने के बाद में भी यू कैन सी जो प्री मार्क्ड लाइन्स है वो बिल्कुल भी इफेक्ट नहीं होंगे. ओके, प्री मार्क वो लाइन्स वैसे ही दिखने वाले हैं, तो उसका टेंशन नहीं रहेगा. बेस कोट लगाने के बाद में भी लाइन्स एकदम अच्छे से दिखेंगे. ओके, ये बेस कोट लगाने के बाद में आपने ध्यान रखना है कि इसको अच्छे से सूखने देना है. ओके, यू हैव टू मेक श्योर कि दिस base coat should not be wet while applying the other colors. Okay, if you apply colors while this surface is wet, तो there are high chances कि आपके colors mix हो जाएंगे एंड आपको तीसरा ही कोई शेड देंगे जो हमको नहीं चाहिए. of course, so we have to make sure कि this base coat has to dry completely. Okay, so once the base coat is dried, we will work right from the center and then keep coming out. Okay, always remember this whenever you create a artwork, start from the center and then keep coming out. It will give you a benefit of that your artwork won't spoil. ओके अगर मैं यहाँ पे काम करूँ फिर यहाँ पे काम करूँ, मेरा हाथ लग सकता है, कुछ भी लग सकता है। ओके तो आपको ध्यान रखना है कि आप पहले सेंटर से शुरुआत करो एंड देन एंड की तरफ आओ। सो सेंटर में व्हाट वी आर गोना डू इज वी विल मेक यूज ऑफ अ टील कलर। आई हैव द कलर विथ मी। व्हाट आई विल बी डूइंग इज विथ हेल्प ऑफ द ब्रश आई विल जस्ट मेक अ आउटलाइन। So whenever you're working with a large surface, all you have to make sure is that you make the outlines first, the way I am doing it, and then later on with help of a sponge or a more broader brush, you can just drag the entire color. It will save your time and energy of course, and finishing will be much more better. Now when I use the brush, just observe the way I am holding my brush. Okay, it is very important while working with the corners, you just make sure कि आप आपका ब्रश 90 डिग्री पे होल्ड करो एंड एक ही बारी में एक लंबा सा स्ट्रोक खींच के लो। Take help of the guided outlines which are already present on your MDF. Thank you for those people who have already bought the kits with us, so that you can create your artwork right with me itself while I'll be showing you the step of creating this artwork. And no worries for the people who haven't bought the kits. Once this session gets completed, you can order your kits as well to prepare this beautiful artwork. ये outlines बनाने का idea is also helping me out, to rest my hand on the surface towards the center, and मेरा artwork खराब भी नहीं हो रहा है. So मेरे outlines भी smooth बन रहे हैं, plus मेरे हाथ को उतना support भी मिल रहा है strokes निकालने के लिए. If you buy these DIY kits, you won't have to buy a single thing out from the market. Everything would be present right there in your kit. That is right from the brushes to the surfaces to the colors to the mirrors or kundans that will be decorating our artwork with. Everything will be there right in that particular kit. And of course with our DIY kits we also have a free video tutorial जिसको देख के आप आपका आर्टवर्क कभी भी बना सकते हो. Okay, as you all can see, outlines बना के हो गया. Now what I have to do is I just have to take good amount of color and then just randomly cover my entire surface. Now I won't have to worry कि मेरा color कहाँ से भी बाहर जाएगा या कुछ भी. I have made the outline, so I just have to cover my middle space very smoothly. While working with acrylic colors, just make sure that you don't mix too much of water in it. If you mix too much of water, there are high chances that the colors may give you a translucent effect. Okay, so just make sure that you use the colors directly without mixing any water in it if not required. अगर आपको पतला करना ही है, बहुत ज़्यादा गाढ़ा हो गया है, तो you can mix some amount of water as per your requirement. डिड यू ऑल नोटिस इफ यू मेक दी आउटलाइंस फर्स्ट तो आपका आर्ट वर्क कितना फटाफट कंप्लीट होता है। यही अगर मैंने सेंटर से स्टार्ट किया होता विदाउट मेकिंग दी आउटलाइंस एट एवरी पेटल, आई वुड हैव टू बी very careful about how to pull the strokes, how to move the brush, whereas अभी it makes me completely easy to fill these patches because यहाँ पे मुझे ध्यान नहीं देना मेरा कलर कहाँ से भी बाहर जा रहा है कि नहीं।
So Shikha ma'am, we have our first question. Kit price. Pooja is asking the kit price for this.
So as you all can see, I have completed my center base coat. So once this is done, we can move forward to our next pattern, okay? And while applying this pattern, if you feel like सूखने के बाद भी आपका surface दिख रहा है, there are some lines or strokes present. So what you have to do is you have to wait for this coat to dry completely, and once this is dried, thereafter you can apply another coat of the same shade, okay? So ये जो भी lines या strokes आपको दिख रहा है वो एकदम plain हो जाएंगे and पूरा opaque दिखेंगे, okay? So इसका सूखने का wait करेंगे and then दूसरा coat लगाएंगे if required रहेगा तो। The next color that we will be applying in these floral patterns is yellow, that is chrome yellow. So again over here as well we will be using the same technique, that is creating the outlines first and then filling in the patch, okay? Now as you all can see, this is a very big size, okay? That is 18-inch round MDF, floral cutout MDF. So I won't be covering in this live the entire artwork because if I do that it's gonna take a long amount of time, okay? So what we will be doing is 4-5 patterns I'll be covering for you. I'll be showing you each and every technique to create the strokes and patterns that we will be creating in order to create this artwork, and thereafter you can refer to the video and create your own artwork. So I won't be covering the entire surface. The next color which will suit in my artwork as well as to this color scheme is chrome yellow. You can of course change the colors as per your choice and wish. So over here as well, I'll be making the outline first. And then fill in the patch. Take the help of the guidelines that are present on the MDF. Trust me, फिनिशिंग बिल्कुल भी ख़राब नहीं होगा, थ्रू आउट दी आर्टवर्क मेंटेन रहेगा। एंड वाइल अप्लाइंग दी कलर दैट इज़ योर बेस कलर्स, जस्ट मेक श्योर कि यू अप्लाई अ वेरी प्लेन स्ट्रोक, दैट इज़ ये जो लम्स आते हैं पेंट के वो नहीं आने चाहिए। आते हैं तो ऐसे ब्रश घुमा के उसको तभी का तभी हटा दो, सो दैट लेटर इफ़ यू हैव टू अप्लाई second or third coat of the paint, so you can do that and lumps nahi dikhenge in the final artwork, okay? So this is how you have to cover it. What you can do is when you apply the paint, in that very moment only just make use of a very less amount of color. So उतना ही कलर आपने यूज करके पूरे आपके वो उतने स्पेस में स्प्रेड आउट कर देना है अच्छे से और कवर कर देना है आर्ट को। As you can see, yellow is a very light color. So एक कोट लगा के कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, इस पे 2 या 3 कोट तो आराम से लगाने ही पड़ेंगे। तो जैसे मैंने पहले भी बताया कि आपने पहला कोट मार के उसको अच्छे से सूखने देना है और उसके सूखने के बाद ही आप दूसरा या तीसरा या चौथा जो भी कोट आपको लगाना है, पहले कोट के सूखने के बाद ही आप लगाओगे, उसके पहले नहीं। And the reason for that is, if I apply a coat while my previous color is wet, it will just remove the color from my surface. It won't give me a good finishing, as well as the colors won't settle good on the surface. So you just have to make sure you let the previous color coat dry completely, and then only you apply your other coats. So I'll be covering these 4 patterns, and then later on I'll be switching to our another shade. If you hold your brush right at 90 degree, आपके स्ट्रोक्स बहुत पतले और स्मूथ आते हैं. Try it out while doing this artwork or any sort of painting. Okay, here we are done. So I'll be covering these 4 patterns. Abhi next color that we will be choosing is reddish orange. So reddish orange ke liye what you have to do is you just have to mix red plus orange in some quantity. What I'll do is I'll take my palette and I'll show you the color preparation as well. So I have orange and red with me. What you have to do is you just have to take some amount of orange. Always remember, अगर आपको कोई dark shade बनाना है या change भी करना है color का shade, तो always take light color first and then mix the dark color. Okay, never mix the light color in the dark shade. So this is the shade that we need, that is reddish orange. Okay, always remember, take the light color first and then use the dark color in that shade. And if you feel like the shade is not as per the requirement of yours, you can keep on adding the darker shade, no issues. But never mix light colors with dark colors. वो कुछ आपको difference देंगे नहीं आपके shade में. You'll end up mixing too much amount of colors in order to procure that color tone which you wish for. Okay, so this is how reddish orange is to be created. I have the prepared color tone with me. I'll show you how to apply this color now. Again, towards the next floral pattern, I have to fill in this shade. Follow the same technique, that is, create the outlines first and then fill in the patch. The moment you dip your brush in the water, even if you wipe it off in your rag, there is still some amount of water present in your brush. So that same water gets transferred in your color as well, and this is how it looks. It gives you a very translucent effect. So again, over here what you have to do is apply the color tone, not an issue. Apply a very flat plain tone and इसके सूखने के बाद then you cover it off with the second or third coat if required. While creating pen mandala, you have to make sure finishing is must. Okay, so right from the start just make sure that you maintain finishing in your artwork, whether it may be the filling of the background colors as well. अभी इसके ऊपर भी mandala होने वाला है, but again my background won't completely hide. Okay, my finishing still would be seen through those patterns, so I have to make sure finishing has to be there while applying the base colors as well. So in this very manner I have completed my second rim as well with the base coat. You might have seen a lot of pen mandala artworks जहाँ पे directly pen या marker से काम होता है. Over here what we are doing is we are applying the base colors first and उसके ऊपर we will be making patterns and designs with help of the brush this time and not pens. It is very easy to handle pens, but when it comes to the brushes it becomes a bit tough. So that is what we will be showing you in this live. If you want to make this similar patterns and designs with help of the brush, so how you can do that. Okay, so I have applied the second layer. Now the third rim is to be done with red color too. Okay, red or maroon if you wish to. Agar if you have to make use of maroon color, what you can do is you can mix black with red color too. Again, to create maroon you have to make sure कि सबसे पहले पैलेट में आप रेड लो और उसमें एकदम थोड़ा सा ब्लैक डालना है. मेक श्योर ब्लैक का क्वांटिटी ब्रश के टिप को टच हो उतना ही यूज करना है, बिकॉज ब्लैक का कलर का डेंसिटी इज टू हाई. सो mixing too much of black in any color tone will make your color turn into a very darker shade. So you just have to make sure that you mix very less amount of black color tone in any of the color that you will be mixing. I won't be making the maroon, I'll be using red directly because red itself stands out very well in this particular artwork. While covering the edges, just make sure that you don't clot the colors towards these corners. Okay, अगर मैं ऐसे ब्रश घुमाऊं तो there are high chances कि मेरा कलर का क्लॉट पूरा ये कोने में जमा हो जाए. तो just pull out the brush, stroke in this very manner कि आपके जो ये edges है वो बिल्कुल भी खराब नहीं हो. Okay. Over here as well. Complete the outline and then fill in the patch. And just make sure that your strokes are coming out and not in. The corners, just these corners won't get affected, but these corners as well, right? And if you tend to use your brush in this way, again यहाँ पे भी colors clot होगा. तो you just have to make sure you have to come from in to out, in to out, in to out. So this is done. Okay, we will let this base coat dry completely. This is completely dried. Okay, so over here we have to apply a background technique. So what you can do is as you all can see, I showed you a sponge right in the start. So this is where the sponge will come in use. So as we have applied a darker background color as compared, so इसके ऊपर we will be applying textures with help of the sponge. Okay, so we will do is we will prepare a lighter tone of this same shade, and then we will be dabbing that color tone with help of the sponge. So what you will require is the same color. In that same color you have to mix some amount of white in it, okay, to prepare the lighter tone of this similar shade. So this is the color tone that will be procured if you mix white with teal color. And once you get this tone, you have to take that particular color in a palette. Make sure your palette is completely clean. Take the required color. You can take any flat surface that you have. You have to dab your sponge. And just make sure that you don't fill in the entire sponge, okay, with ample amount of color. If you do that, what will happen is our entire background will get covered with this particular, color tone only. You just have to make sure that we are applying the technique, but making sure that our background color should not disappear completely, okay. So once you tap the color, like when you take the color in your sponge, you just have to make sure that you dab it off over here, so the excessive amount of color gets off from your sponge, and then directly you can tab it in on your actual surface. And while doing that, just make sure that you do it very lightly, that is, apply a very light amount of pressure. Cover the entire surface with the technique, and if you feel like at a point the color has clotted too much, so what you can do is again you can apply the base color, and then again you can follow the same technique, that is of dabbing of the sponge on your surface. While applying the pressure, just make sure that is even throughout the surface. It should not be it is more at one place and less at some other. Just try to maintain the equal and right amount of texture that is needed towards the surface. Now over here you just have to be careful that you don't barge in with the yellow color tone which you have applied previously. Whenever you take color in your sponge for every dab, just make sure कि color लेके आप उसको यहाँ पे dab करो, जितना भी excessive colors है उसको side में निकाल दो, and then again follow the process of dabbing. If I dip my sponge in the color and then put it right on my surface, so there would be this huge amount of patch on my artwork, which of course won't look nice. And while doing this, you can you can exchange the colors. That is, if you want lighter color का background, तो you can apply that and then dab in with the darker color, या तो फिर इस तरीके से dark color का background apply करके light color से dabbing technique. Whichever way is fine and would suit the artwork, okay. So this is done. This is the center of your artwork, okay. Now what we have to do is the patch which we covered over here, we have to create patterns over here, okay. So the first pattern that I'll be showing you is take some amount of orange color tone. Okay. Now over here I don't want a completely tint color. Tint as in what? Tint means if you want any lighter tone of any color, that is to be called as tint. Okay, so I don't want a tint of orange color, I just want a bit of the lighter tone of orange. So that is why I haven't taken white and then added orange from above. I have taken orange before and then afterwards I'll be adding white just to make it a bit light. That's it. This is the color which I wanted. So yeah. Okay, so once this shade is procured, I'll be creating my first pattern or motif that can be set. Now you have to make sure the colors which you use from above are bright and bold, that suits your background color. Okay, I cannot be making use, if I say bright, so that doesn't mean that I'll be directly using red and yellow. Okay, so there won't be difference in my artwork. I have to create a depth and a sense and a harmony in my painting, so you have to choose the colors wisely. What you have to do is just take some amount of color and create a leaf shape right towards the center. Just keep your brush right below your point and then drag a curved line from one end and another curved line from one end, making sure you work towards the advantage of your brush. Okay, I cannot be like creating in this very manner. What will happen is, by chance if I lose the control from my brush, so my brush will leave excessive amount of color on this side and it may spoil the shape. Okay, so work towards the advantage of your surface and your brush, and that is holding the artwork in this very position and the manner that I have folded, and just drag one curved line from here, another curved line from here. Okay, once this is done, I'll be creating a very light color of yellow. That is, I'll be mixing white with yellow color tone. So this is the shade that you will get. This is the color which will be procured if you mix yellow with white. Okay, so again follow the same technique, that is create the leaf shape, but this time inside the previous pattern which you created. Okay, you just have to make sure your this color stands out from the background color. Okay, so make it dark or light equally the way it suits. Okay, once this is done, we will be making this color more light. So I'll just take some amount of this color tone and mix white with it. This is not enough, so I'll be mixing more amount of white in it. Every time you switch the colors, just make sure that you clean your brush thoroughly. Okay, so yeah, I think this should do. So you just have to procure this color and then create a drop shape towards the center. That is, just tap the color on the surface and drag it towards the center. Tap the color towards the surface and drag it towards the center. Same over here as well. Here as well. Okay, so this is one of the pattern that is created. If you want, you can enhance it more by adding So here we go. Our this rim is completed. Okay, we won't be adding any more patterns over here. Now next what you have to create is you have to create a fountain shape. Okay, so I'll be making use of same light orange color tone. Now to make the drop shape pattern, what I have to do is put some amount of color towards the top and then drag it towards the center. Now what over here I am doing is I'll be putting the color with help of the broader brush. Now to drag it towards the center I'll be using a fine brush so that my outlines are maintained and the size and shape and the details of my pattern. So just take some color, drop it on the surface and then drag it towards the bottom, that is towards the center as shown. If you would have created this same artwork with help of the pen or a sketch pen or markers, so what you would have done is you would have created the outline first and then filled in the pattern. Over here we are creating the same patterns but with help of the brush, of course. Follow the same process over here as well. Just make sure that don't drop the dots and then follow the same process to create the another rims also. Complete the one side properly and then switch on to the next one. You can of course increase and decrease the amount of drop shapes as per your choice. I am keeping limited till here. And this is how you will be covering your orange pattern. Now switching on towards the last one, that is over here. Now you will be creating the same patterns but you will be changing the color scheme. So the first that we will choose is deep orange. Dip your brush, increase the size as per the area available. Here you go, and then switch on to the another color. So I'll be making use of light orange next. While creating the other one, just make sure that you decrease the height. Decrease the height as well as the size. Okay, the next is to be created with yellow. Take chrome yellow, complete the pattern. End the motif with last, that is white color tone. So this is how your artwork will look, and you can balance out your center color tone over here by adding a small drop towards the center. This is just to balance out the color, and while applying the pattern above the pattern that you had created before, just make sure that it dries completely, and then from above you add in the details that you have to add. Okay, so this is how this artwork is to be created. You just have to make sure you have to follow the same color scheme, can be your choice, but the same patterns throughout the surface. Okay, now I'll be showing you how we will be decorating our Shiva. Okay, so what we have to do is take your MDF cutout. Okay, I'll just put my artwork take your MDF surface. Okay, just make sure while doing this your background or your table is neatly wrapped with plastic, so that your workspace or workplace doesn't get spoiled. What you have to do is you have to follow the same technique is that make use of a sponge cutout and dab the color on your MDF cutout. Okay, but while doing this process you have to make sure that you make use of minimal amount of color. Why is that so? Is as I was talking while creating this patterns or the painting on our actual surface, that is if you use ample amount of color and you dab it off on your surface and you have edges like this, you will end up losing the sharpness of your MDF cutout while dabbing excessive amount of colors. So you just have to make sure take or use minimal amount of color tone and then just dab it on the surface. Okay, again over here I have black in my palette. You have to make use of black. Take black in the sponge cutout, dab it on a palette like this, remove all the excessive color that is present on the sponge and just dab that color tone towards your MDF. Okay, just make sure you don't apply too much of pressure on your surface or on your sponge while doing this step. Just make sure you cover your entire surface. As you can see, the MDF is being cut very sharply and very intricate details are there. So just be gentle while doing the process, that you don't lose out to any of the piece of your MDF. You can change the color of this cutout, but black is what will stand out more in your artwork. So I would suggest do not change the color, keep it as black itself only. Okay, once this is done, you have to let it dry properly and then what you have to do is grab your artwork, and then paste your MDF cutout right towards the center with help of a glue. Okay, so this is how your artwork would turn out to be once you complete this patterns and the color patches. Okay, the final outcome of the artwork would be this. You can also enhance your artwork by adding in some golden outliners or some mirrors to add final touches or details towards your artwork. So this would be the final outcome of your artwork. So that was it, guys, in our today's Facebook and Insta live. This is one such example of pen mandala. We have some more artworks which we can show you. I'll just show you what all things you can create using pen mandala art. This is one of the example. This is a serving tray. Again, it is of MDF cutout. And this is how you can enhance your pen mandala by creating it in such a manner. We have a wall decor. Again, this has been done and completed with help of a brush. Another example we have is a jewelry box. This is again done with help of a very fine brush. And one example of pen mandala which we have is this chopping board, which has been done with help of a marker. So these were the artworks that you can create using pen mandala art. I'll be showing you a screenshot. I'll be showing you a piece of paper from where you guys can note down all the details present on the paper. That is, if you want to buy kits of this particular artworks, you can connect with us on, that is diy.penkraft.in. Penkraft spelling is PENKRAFT.in. If you want to buy kits in order to create this beautiful artworks, as I said earlier also in our Facebook and Insta live, that if you want to create this artwork, not a single thing or a material you have to buy from the market. Everything would be available right towards you in that kit. That is from starting right from the surfaces to colors to stencil to brushes, and of course the extra materials that you will be using to create the artwork. And in case if you don't want to create the artworks, you directly want to purchase these gifts, you can connect with us on giftsgifts.penkraft.in, or you can connect on this number. So you won't have to create this artwork, you can directly buy these beautiful artworks from this website. And in case if you want to learn these beautiful art forms from us, you can connect with us on workshops.penkraft.in, or you can connect with us on the number, that is 73040 I'll repeat the number, that is 73040 If you want to create this beautiful artworks with us in one-on-one session and want to get a thorough training in it, you can connect with us on these numbers. That was it for today's Facebook and Insta live. And before ending the live, I would tell you the next live that will be happening is on 15th of March, which is going to be about how to do block printing on a stove. This is something newly brought from Penkraft to you guys. So surely connect with us on 15th of March to see and to experience how to create a beautiful stole done with hand print block printing. So see you guys on 15th of March for our next Facebook and Insta live. Thank you so much.